Hello, welcome Wednesday edition. Blue Sky Live here with you this morning. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio, getting going. Kind of an assortment of college football topics. Also, as we predicted yesterday and for a while now, Jim Schlossnagle is taking the head coaching job at the University of Texas. Somebody texted me last night. Basically, he just had the car parked around the corner from the time that press conference was until when he was headed to Austin there. And he was going to do it whether they won or lost the game. Kind of crazy, actually, as you look at it. Been known for a week, so we'll discuss that a little bit. Again, some college football stuff coming up.
I saw where a Texas A&M beat writer, I will not name names, said that he was emotionally and physically exhausted.
Said who is the writer or Schlossnagle?
The writer.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was emotionally
exhausted
and very disappointed.
Well.
Things that I just go.
I did say that Lane said that Casey Smith was fully okay with having the feelings she had this morning. Did you see that?
No.
Casey Smith for Barstool was talking about Schlossnagle leaving, and as a Texas A&M fan, just her feelings and responses to that. And Lane responded to her and said that he completely understands and all those feelings are justified that she is feeling, and with regards to the situation this morning.
I guess I don't know who she is.
I mean, just a Barstool personality.
Okay.
Yeah, no big deal. I just thought it was funny Lane commented. That was all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good. Apparently a big NBA trade. I don't know these people, but
yes.
We'll probably hit that at some point today. I don't know. We got stuff. We'll be here with you for June 26th. Not a bad list of items. As we,
likely an NBA trade that will cause an avalanche of more NBA trades.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. I'll let you explain that here in a little bit. First, blue skies across the state of Mississippi, including here locally in Oxford. Get you a couple ribs, a couple slabs of ribs, not just ribs, a couple slabs of ribs for $30 for 4th of July. It's coming up one day only. Call. They'll have them wrapped up, ready to go, wet, dry. You get to pick. You get to name it. Let them help you with your catering for the 4th of July. Maybe you want to be around the grill, but you don't want to do all of it. Don't necessarily go to smoking. They'll take care of the ribs for you. So do that here locally in Oxford or any Sweet Daddy's location across the state of Mississippi. They will take care of you with the ribs for 4th of July. They take care of you every day with lunch specials and much more as well. No matter where you are in Mississippi, there is a Blue Sky nearby. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're interested in. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. The Campbell Clinic is in Oxford now, 2608 South Lamar Boulevard, Suite 102, just across the street from the cottages at Hooper Hollow. The Campbell Clinic provides full-service orthopedic care, everything from sports medicine to foot and ankle surgery to spine, total joint care, pediatric orthopedics, physical therapy, and more. To book an appointment, go to campbellclinicoxford.com or call 901-759-3111. Walk-ins always welcome at the Campbell Clinic, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. until 4 p.m.
So, start with Schlossnagle just because it's interesting to me at this point. Again, I guess I am not as big of a person as Richard Zane, the TexAgs writer, who asked the question 2 nights ago, because his Twitter has been completely silent as far other than linking this. No shots, no comebacks, no retweets, nothing. I don't know if Billy put the brakes on him or what's going on there at TexAgs, but I just kind of looked at him like, hold on a minute. Like, where's the artillery fire at the boy there when you look back at it? I mean, Schlossnagle, again, fewer than 2 days ago. The press conference is at 11 o'clock this morning. So fewer than 40 hours basically from the time of the thing last night.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, sure.
Right? This is this part that baffled me yesterday.
Sure.
And maybe it's because we've been talking about it on this show for 2 weeks. But again, Chase, I was having a conversation with someone on Friday afternoon. That's when it was. Okay? It was not about college baseball.
Yeah.
And this person was aware that Schlossnagle was going to Texas. Not that he might go to Texas, but that he was going to Texas as soon as the Aggies season was over.
It hasn't been hey, you know what? No, everybody around the world in baseball had gone, no, he's going to Texas.
Yeah.
Done.
So yesterday when it breaks and it's like, I mean, I'm fine with Chip Brown 247 first. Chip's really good. He's very connected, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like, okay. But then there was this shockwave, and I was like, well, okay, so for the people that don't keep up with college baseball, I'm like, that's cool. I get why you're shocked. But there were people inside college baseball media circles that were acting as if their hair was on fire. And I'm like, wait a minute. If I knew this from talking to someone in athletics circles and we weren't even talking about baseball, how the hell did you not know this was coming?
Well, it was the part that I put this on the board yesterday, and I guess I am singling him out, probably unfairly, but it's true. Like Kendall, if I've known this for weeks, he's known this for weeks. Texas and Texas A&M are absolutely the two schools he's most sourced at. He went to Texas A&M. He lives in Texas.
Lives there.
Yeah, like he knows everything about those two programs. Sure. Even if you're letting them break it and you're not trying to screw sources and you're just playing that game, which happens in national media. If you're playing that game, okay. But it made no sense to come out the day before and frankly run some interference and go, no, if the stadium thing gets done, he said he wasn't leaving, like all that stuff. Comes in yesterday and goes, oh my God, it was between the Georgia series and the regional. It's like, you knew that. You completely knew that. So why are we playing that level of game that we're now going, oh, this is brand new information and it's so shocking? I don't know. I don't quite get it. It was really strange to me, sort of that reaction.
You're setting me up to make fun of media.
I mean,
because
I'd
love to.
Yeah, sure.
Your job in media is not to run interference. When someone likely close to Schlossnagle says, hey, can you take some heat off of me for a day? The answer is no. No, you're going to Texas. My job is not to run interference for you. My job is to cover you, period. Now, I'm sure in the back of his mind, he's like, well, if I run some interference when he gets to Texas, I'm going to be dialed in. And I get it, but you can't be a hostage to access. That's blackmail. You can't be hostage to it. Media is really bad right now, Chase. It's why there's a presidential debate in 36 hours. And the main topic of conversation going into the debate is it possible that it will even be remotely unbiased? Because Jake Trotter has compared Trump to Hitler, and because Dana Bash's ex-husband was one of the 51 people who signed the bogus FBI thing about Hunter Biden's laptop. So the answer to the question is, hell no, it can't be unbiased, because there is no unbias in media anymore. There is no objectivity anymore. So you can't act shocked when you knew he was leaving. It's just part of the gig. But there's this thing now with a lot of media, and it's very prevalent in sports media, of being hostage to access. You know, if I don't kiss their ass, they won't tell me who's coming on visits. Well, then screw it.
Why do you think? Because it wasn't a system thing. It wasn't like it had to be posted for days like it does here and things like that because it happened in a day. Why do you think Del Conte fired Pearson and let that blow up the day of the final game?
To be a jerk.
Well, but you're screwing the guy you're hiring.
He didn't care. He wanted the drama.
But
the optics of this guy's our coach your coach is literally coaching the national championship game tonight, and he's our coach. But how is Schlossnagle okay with that? Probably because he's getting out of a place that he hates and going to a place that he knows he'll like better, to work for people that he likes, and he's probably going to make an absolute ton of money, and money will cover up a lot of things. Yeah, I saw it's the most expensive firing and hiring in college baseball history, and I kind of looked over there and went, well, almost not. Because I'll get that in a minute. I'll find it now when we're talking. That's probably why. Probably didn't care. He's probably so sick of Texas A&M and all the crap that he didn't care. He coached his kids. I've seen people go, he couldn't be focused on the game. He was totally focused on the game. No, it had no impact. They had a pitching plan, and it almost worked. But the kid for Tennessee pitched really well. That had nothing to do with the outcome of that game, or that series for that matter. I mean, they were 9 outs away at one point from winning, and Tennessee rallied. Tennessee's very, very good. They won 60 freaking games. Yeah, 6-5 game. I mean, give me a break. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, I can give you a Tuberville story. I've told this story before. When Tommy Tuberville was leaving And this is when I was just a pup before I even knew what the hell I was doing. When he was leaving Ole Miss for Auburn, and I had basically reported that early that November. I mean, he and I had a conversation the week of, I guess Ole Miss was getting ready to go to Georgia. It's the week of the Iron Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted me to put out another denial. And I was like, I can't do it. He said, why? It's because you're taking the job. I think you've already taken the job. You're the next coach at Auburn. You're trying to get to the day after Thanksgiving. And I was right. And he was. At some point, you have to tell people, and look, he was getting ready to be the guy I was covering as a young beat writer.
Sure.
I needed the access. But you can't just be somebody's word that rhymes with which.
Yeah, USA Today Steve Berkowitz notes Schlossnagle will owe the Aggies $2.7 million, which Texas will presumably pay, obviously. And then Pierce's contract with Texas, they owe him about 1.85. So I guess probably a percentage of 2 seasons left is what it is.
So 4, 5, 4, 6 or so to make a coaching change, and then
plus whatever tax stuff they would have.
Yeah, and they'll have to pay him,
and they'll pay him handsomely.
Yes,
probably the highest paid coach in the country.
That'd be my expectation,
or at least just below Corbin.
And the hot pitching coach I've heard is coming with him.
The entire staff is going with him.
Oh, how about that?
All 3. The entire staff is going with him. Yes. No. Not just Nolan Kane and the band of boys. The whole group headed to Austin together.
And again, a reminder, Texas joins the SEC Monday morning.
Monday morning.
12:01 a.m.
This is my favorite part of this. Now, look, I was pulling for A&M to win. I wanted A&M to win. Although, I as I've said, I'm liking Vitello more by the day. But anyway, they pointed out on the board, I think is where it was. I saw it this morning, and they're right. Had A&M won, the damn parade would have been today with no coaches.
Yeah.
Just the team.
Yeah, he was going no matter what.
That was my point. Yeah, it was over. He would have been announced today no matter what, except Texas we have the national champion coach coming in. They would have celebrated A&M's title today.
Yeah.
We were robbed of a hilarious, surreal day in the world of coaching changes and what that would have looked like.
Yeah.
Your national championship coach.
Hey, they would have. Can you imagine the passion with which they would have sawed the horns off?
Oh,
I mean, they would have had some serious torque. I mean, some
chainsaw level stuff going on.
Like every orthopedic surgeon in that part of Texas would have been looking at that going, man, there's some serious lateral meniscus.
Yeah, pickleball no longer the number one injury reason in the state of Texas.
No.
I mean, that is amazing. It's just amazing. I'm very upset that they did not win now.
Oh God. Yeah, it would have been great drama.
Oh, super. 11 o'clock this morning.
I'll tell you this. And I'm sure they've already done it, the schedule, but if I'm ABC, whoever, I'm like, hey, look, whenever Texas and Texas A&M play each other, we got it.
In everything.
I don't care what the record is. Just give it to us.
You mean football?
Everything.
You just mean sports.
But especially football. Sign them up.
I'll take all of it.
Because that might be now the new.
Most hostile.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there one that's more full of more hate than that one?
No.
Because Alabama-Auburn isn't hate like that.
Not hated. Michigan-Ohio State's not hated like that.
Mm-mm.
There's a level of respect in those.
Well, and fear. What Texas showed is that they have no fear of Texas A&M whatsoever.
Well, no, it's probably. We've talked about this dynamic, but not to the point for this is probably some fan base education to some degree here, and I bet anybody living in Texas is nodding along. A&M is really weird with a lot of money. That's what they are. Ton of money, really weird, got stuff. They get in their own way all the time.
Yeah, because they're bizarre.
Texas has a ton of money and is the most arrogant fan base on the planet.
Yeah.
You don't get what's coming yet from an area. It's why it's so fun when they get rattled by the horns down and you beat them, because they don't expect to lose at anything ever.
Yeah.
They are completely the most arrogant fan base in the country. Period.
Now, that said, from a baseball standpoint,
yes,
you give Schlossnagle everything he wants, he's going to be really dangerous.
Well, he had it last year. I mean, that's the thing. Like, everybody keeps missing the point. It wasn't money that caused that Schlossnagle to go to Texas. It wasn't NIL money. It wasn't salary. It was nothing. A&M would pay whatever the hell he wanted.
Sure.
He just didn't want to be in College Station, and he wanted to be with Del Conte in Austin. That's
he was
it.
Tired of the creepy stuff.
Yes. He didn't like the school. He wanted to go to Texas. That is what happened.
I mean, I don't want to pile on Texas A&M here. I really don't, because I have nothing against them. The people that I've interacted with from a media standpoint are fantastic. Like the Texags people are some of the nicest people in the business. But man, at some point you got to sit down and look at that and go, what are we doing? We're hurting ourselves. We should be more dominant than we are, and they should be.
They should.
They have phenomenal facilities. They have all the money you could possibly want. They're not far from a major metropolitan in Houston. Tons of incredibly successful, wealthy alums. I mean, there just aren't many negatives.
And yet,
the one negative is that we're so freaking weird. And if you've ever been around people that are that weird, you get uncomfortable.
they're their own version of what, in a worse way, to what Texas and Alabama used to be. By God, we just do it our way and we don't care, and we're not we're not upsetting the apple cart. And by God, the donors are in charge, and like they can't stop in all these ways. They can't get out of the way. I mean, I've said this 1,000 times. I mean, I know we kind of poke and whatever, but I mean, I like Ross well enough, and we used to have conversations. Go, what's the big difference? He'd come back and go, hey, what? And he's like, at a lot of places you need to know 20 names, and it's kind of whatever. He's like, at A&M, it's 400.
Yeah,
it's 400
it's
names,
much.
And they all want to say, and they all want a piece of the pie. And he's like, it's not doable.
Well, I mean, I've told you.
I mean,
literally, it was the day that it got out that Texas and Oklahoma were joining the SEC. It was at media days, and I was down in the lobby talking to him.
Oh, that's right.
And I was like, "Hey, man, how's?" First, I was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Turns out I should have been dug in a little bit more on what are you doing here." And I was like, "What's up with the cult? Everything good? How's the Kool-Aid tasting these days?" And he would laugh.
Yeah.
He'd tell you to F off or whatever, playfully. But I mean, he was in on the joke.
Yeah. But
Because if you knew him at all personally, leave all the Ole Miss stuff out of it for a minute.
Yeah.
If you knew him on any personal level, you knew that stuff made him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He wasn't that way.
No.
Not wired like that.
No, I like Ross. I do.
Yeah,
I like
too.
Ross. I mean, systemically, it's just who they are.
It kills them. And it kills them.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
You literally just had a coach take you to the national championship game in dominant fashion. They were great all year, with probably their best player, at most their second best player, out of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And you still almost won, beating a historically good team. And he leaves not even 24 hours later, not to go to the Atlanta Braves or the New York Yankees, but to your arch rival that's about to join.
That's joining your league
on Monday morning.
It's why. Look, do I think it? No, I do not think it. But if I woke up one day and they said, "Hey, A&M to the Big Ten to get away from Texas," I'd go, "Yeah."
Well, look,
okay.
The people that are saying that aren't making it up
I
out
know.
of thin air.
They just don't want to be neighbors to Texas.
In fact, if you made me put odds on the odds of Texas A&M leaving the SEC to the Big Ten, I'd at least 30%.
Would you really?
Yeah.
30?
People aren't making that up.
I mean, I'm going to read this one more time. Richard Zane, wherever you're at out there.
But he's being big.
I know.
See, I don't know that I'd be capable, but
that's my point. I wouldn't be capable.
I'm giving him credit.
I wouldn't be capable. My Jiff game yesterday, I know myself.
Okay,
no way.
Devil's advocate. And I'm with you completely. But his argument was I was being a journalist. And
sure.
So in the aftermath of this, I'm being a journalist.
No, I get it.
Because his only mistake in the whole question was
Aggie
Land.
Yeah.
That was an error.
Yeah. But
in the whole scheme of things, it was a minor error.
I get it.
It was the second baseman booting a ball in the 8th inning, whatever. It didn't matter.
I get it. Just would have been a tough turn the other cheek moment. I'm just telling you.
Sure.
I'm
sure.
Hey, Schloss, Texas.
I did
got a question.
I did it that day when Houston Nutt did that. Wasn't no 49-10, was it? I mean, I told you what I wanted to say.
You barely regret it though, a little bit, don't you?
Sure. Would have, but I don't know.
Hey, Houston, are you claiming a moral victory in year 4?
In hindsight, What would have felt better was to say that.
Yeah.
In hindsight, do I look better for having not responded?
Yeah, sure. Probably. Yeah.
I probably justify his anger if I say something snarky.
Yeah.
By just sitting there and ultimately asking a question about the game.
And looking,
I come across like the bigger man, even though I'm not saying I'm a bigger man, whatever. It was an emotional thing, whatever. But by Zane not saying anything, just going, I'm doing my job.
Yeah, I get it. Here's the thing is that, as we said yesterday, he's emotional. He's pissed he's having to answer it. So he goes at Richard for a minute.
Yeah.
Selfish, all that crap. Ask Montgomery. Okay. And then
sure.
That's the dumbest part of it. He's a top 10 pick. Yes, he's going pro, Jim.
If he's not going pro, I'm going to hit him.
Yeah, I have questions.
What are you doing? Yeah.
But then, he wasn't prepared for the question. How in the world are you not prepared for that question?
Want the answer?
Yes.
These people surround themselves with yes men. No.
That he didn't think he was going to be asked that.
And media relations. Media relations people. Media relations people want the coaches to like them, and they're scared of the coaches, and they're scared they're going to get fired and stuff. And so instead of preparing them for what's coming, they don't.
Before the game, at some point earlier today, hey, Jim, look, this is out here. We need to go over this real quick.
Yeah. Hey, look.
When this happens.
Hey, look.
When this happens.
Hey, look, Jim, you're going to get pissed off at me, but I'm doing my job here. Someone's going to ask you about the Texas.
So we need an
tonight.
answer.
So be prepared.
Yeah.
Now, ultimately, I'm sure the Texas A&M guys like, I can't believe this is happening. That's where you get the emotional part. You need people in your organization that are not emotional.
Yeah. And then Jim at the end screwed up in his mind because he used past tense, which told us all it was over.
That's the thing. People are like, he lied in the answer. I'm like, no, he didn't. He told you the truth.
Well, he said, I took the job at A&M to never take another job again, and that hasn't changed in my mind.
Yeah, it was stupid.
That is a lie.
But the next two answers were past tense. He told you he was leaving.
I poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I gave this job every ounce I could possibly give it. Right to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gone. Kick him.
Yeah, sorry.
Hook him.
Hook him is the better hand sign.
Well, now look, the Texas brand is on point. Give them credit.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
It's awesome.
You can't criticize the brand.
They're all white uniform, and the cheerleaders with the chaps and stuff. It's a W. Bevo, the whole shooting match.
Yeah, you're kind of.
Come on.
You're kind of in.
I mean,
they're just pricks.
Yeah, but I mean, the brand itself.
You're gonna be for Texas, aren't you, when they play?
Probably.
At least you know what you're getting. Like, it's right there in front of you.
Well, there's truth in advertising.
But I also am going to enjoy them losing when they lose.
Sure.
I'm going to enjoy when they lose to what they consider to be the mid-level, low-level SEC team. When they go to Lexington and something and get popped. And you go, yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. Yep. That's what's coming.
When they go to Mississippi State and lose.
Yeah.
Or go to Mississippi State thinking they're going to win by 30, and it's a 2-point game in the middle of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, welcome.
Yeah. That's it. So, all right, we'll continue in a minute. First, we got warmer, sunnier days. They're not just calling. They are absolutely here. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto. Ready in just 2 minutes. No matter how busy you are, you always have time to enjoy nutritious, great-tasting meals with 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week. You always have new flavors to explore. Make your day delicious from breakfast to dessert. Stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Like I said, just 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, cleaning up, nothing like that. So you can head to factormeals.com/MPW50. Use code MPW50 to get 50% off for your first box, plus 20% off your next month as well. That's code MPW50 at factormeals.com/MPW50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20 your next month.
Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego, Sego Wealth Management, specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan, whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere. Andrew can help you. Just set up an appointment with rebelsretire.com. Again, rebelsretire.com. Grenada Home Center has paint by Benjamin Moore, Pittsburgh Paints, Farrell Calhoun, flooring of any and all types, stone countertops, Whether you're looking for granite, quartz, or anything else, and they've got window treatments from plantation shutters to whatever else suits your fancy. It's Grenada Home Center, 1301 Sunset Drive, Suite H in Grenada, 662-226-3127. You've got about 2 weeks left during the open registration period for youth sports at Oxford Park Commission. Sign up through July 7th with OPC for soccer, flag football, baseball, softball, volleyball, and cheerleading. Go to oxfordparkcommission.com for additional details, or just contact Community Relations Director John Davis directly at johndavis@oxfordparkcommission.com. You may have noticed it's hotter than hell outside. If your AC is acting funny, you need to get in touch with the people at Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. The College Corner is the place to go when you're getting your gear as the football season approaches. They've got 2 locations in the Jackson area, one in Oxford as well, just off of Sisk Avenue at the Oxford Commons. More than 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear. You can also check them out online at collegecornerstore.com. And when you work with Argent Wealth's 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory services team and a time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employees' retirement readiness. It's myargentwealth.com.
Something I just noted, just a quick note I saw this morning about Tony Vitello. Obviously, he's going to get whatever the hell he wants in Knoxville if he stays there and does it. But pretty good contract that Danny White put together for him from a Tennessee standpoint, because, you know, speaking of Ross, gave Mike one of the worst contracts ever back after 14 because, and again, in hindsight, I get why you do it, but things appear to, in baseball, at least with Ole Miss, has popped up in bad ways when you understand why you do it, but then it still hasn't worked. Is Ross did the thing where whatever bonuses, and there were a lot of bonuses that Mike hit, they got added onto his base. So then that's how he got raises for all those years without reaching the College World Series, because you win the West or you host a regional or you do all those things, right, and they compile, and then suddenly
and that becomes your base, and then you add bonuses on top of the base.
And suddenly you're up $400,000 in 3 or 4 years because of that kind of stuff. So that's what happened. Vitello.
I mean, all I did was take a picture of the Tuies and say that Morris was really a candidate. That's all I did.
He didn't like that, did he?
He didn't like it.
Didn't like that?
No.
Is that the worst? Is that the maddest he's ever been at you?
It was the maddest he ever got at me.
Was it?
Yeah. And he sent me the text at the wrong time. It was a Saturday night. We'd covered an early game. It was a Saturday night. It was game 1 of the 2017 NLCS. And so even though the Cubs had won the World Series the year before, I was starting to go, hey, well, maybe.
Dynasty. And
they had a lead going into like the 8th or 9th inning, and their bullpen blew it against the Dodgers out in L.A. that night. And he sent me your Bush League DM as that rally was beginning to unfold for the Dodgers.
Oh, Bush League?
And at the same time, that was the year that Carson played 2 sports travel. And so he had a baseball tournament down in the Delta somewhere, and Laura was thoroughly pissed at me and was letting me know it.
So I had a lot going on.
So I had a lot going on, and so he hit me at the exact wrong time, and it was like, all right.
I don't know if I've ever had like a really bad run-in with Ross. I actually had a worse run-in with Michael than I did Ross over the years. But
really?
Yeah. Right at the very beginning. And to his credit, it wasn't even really, he didn't even realize what he had stepped into. And like, we had never really met, and I was a hornet's nest. It was like, whoa, like I didn't even know that was a thing. But anyway.
Go ahead, sorry.
Vitello, $140,000 bonus for the College World Series title, okay?
Okay.
But he's eligible for only 1 bonus per year. So whatever the highest they get is, he gets that number. There is no compound effect for Vitello. So he got 0 for winning the SEC tournament, nothing along the way.
So he just got $140,000 for winning the whole
His
thing.
only bonus is whatever the highest bonus is the only bonus he gets.
Wow. Who's his agent?
I mean, Patrick, sorry. Like that feels that's not a football world, is it?
No.
It's not anybody. Like, that's interesting.
Vitello's next couple of years are going to be interesting.
In what way?
Well, he can go anywhere he wants. Everyone will want him. Tennessee will do everything it can to hang on to him, but he will have to weigh that job versus other jobs. There are other
because there's got to be a part. I mean, he's not. I don't think. I've heard nothing about A&M. By the way, somebody asked me.
He can't go there.
He can't. But there's a part of him that goes, God, the resources.
Yeah, but he can't go there. He doesn't fit.
No, he doesn't.
He'd be like Lane going there. It just doesn't fit.
He's not doing that crap.
But now, if LSU came open, if Arkansas came open, if those kinds of jobs came open and they offered him, those are better jobs.
Florida.
100%.
Ooh.
Those are better jobs.
I could really see him at Florida.
I could see him at Florida, and I could see him at Arkansas. The ties to Arkansas are strong.
They are.
He mentions them all the time.
I think Florida or LSU would be his best fit if he just literally put him somewhere.
Actually, I think in the SEC, the only place he doesn't fit is A&M.
Well, that's probably true.
I think he could go any of those places.
I think Missouri turned him down, hired somebody else
that did not
back in the
go
day
well.
because he went there.
It was an error.
He wouldn't still be there, but anyway.
And I don't know that he'd win bigger there than they're winning, but still.
Speaking of Tennessee, their AD, Danny White, he reached his bonus cap of $300,000 with the Vols winning the Men's College World Series. He entered the final game of that with the $266,805 in bonuses already earned and finished the game, tallying $533,610 in bonuses in the terms of his contract. That included $72,000 for team national championship, or 3% of his annual base salary, $194,000 or 8% of his base salary for Tennessee finishing in the top 10 of the Directors' Cup standings, and all that stuff. But the way it works, he can only cap out at $300K. So he actually lost about $200,000 having a cap on the number of AD bonuses that he can receive.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Be all right.
Get whatever he wants. Get a raise, get a little extra cash, get all that kind of stuff going on there. So now we got that out of the way. Let me find it. I thought I saw this here about we talked about jersey patches, putting ads and stuff on things yesterday. We spent a good bit of time on that. So Elevate is a company that provides monetary insights, does projections for this kind of thing. So they looked at exposure rates of college football teams and the amount of money that can be reached across different conferences for men's basketball and football patches on their uniform. So this is just one patch. This is like the loves or the whatever on all the jerseys and all that kind of stuff. That's what we're talking about. Okay. So, isn't it loves?
Yeah.
Okay, sis? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the top 50 men's basketball teams with the highest projected revenue potential for jersey patch sales, the highest patch evaluation is $2.2 million. While the highest jersey patch valuation for a college football team is $6 million. The average jersey patch valuation for men's basketball is $590,000, and the average jersey patch for college football is $2.2 million.
Okay.
At that point.
All right.
In men's hoops, the conferences represented in the top 50 break down with the SEC getting 28% of that. In football, the SEC comprises 30% because basically every damn body of the top, whatever it is at that point. The top 10 schools that they have identified that could get the most money in these two sports. In basketball, in alphabetical order, it's not listed by down. I don't know if that's proprietary or what, but in alphabetical order, the top 10 revenue projections in basketball: Alabama, Auburn, UConn, Duke, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan State, North Carolina, Tennessee.
Okay.
Interesting there it's not really about success as much as tradition or recognizing it. It's only about recognizing it because Indiana sucks, but they're still on that list of top 10 teams because they're Indiana.
Yeah, you still think of them as a basketball place, even though they've sucked for a while.
Yeah. In football, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State, Tennessee, Texas. So SEC Big Ten outside of Notre Dame. What you would expect.
Yes.
So by that, judging these in and just simply taking a shot in the dark, I'd say Ole Miss could add $4.5 million to their budget by putting a patch on the jerseys.
Don't know how you'd say no to that.
Something like that.
I mean, I don't.
And I'm assuming in basketball it's low ones.
That's probably about right. You could add to an apartment $5
$6 million just simply by putting
$5.5 million. I don't know how you could say no to that. If you're Auburn, you could add $8.5, $9 million. How would you say no to that?
You can't.
I mean, I'd be in the room going, why?
Because they're not even
And
really.
someone goes, well, tradition.
Because they're really not even noticeable.
Well,
I don't know that I even pick them out off uniforms anymore.
The Boston Celtics just won a national title, and a world championship, and I watch a lot of NBA, and I can't tell you who their sponsor is right now.
I don't know who it is either. Do you really not know? Because I don't.
mean, I can almost picture it, but I can't come up with the company name. If you tell me, I'll be, oh yeah, there. But
list of jersey sponsors. Boston Celtics is Vistaprint.
Vistaprint.
Have no idea.
Now that you say that, I'm like, oh, okay, I remember that. But the point is I'm kind of nose blind to it, right?
I'm looking through them, and again, I get I'm very casual. 1, I'm being quick. 2, 3.
Yeah, GE Ryan was an
4.
old Celtics one. They used to sponsor the Celtics.
I could have only told you off the top of my head 5 of them. I could have told you that the Dallas Mavericks were Chime. Mm-hmm. I knew that.
Yep.
I could have told you that the Miami Heat were Carnival Cruise Line.
Yeah, now that you say that,
I knew the Milwaukee Bucks were Motorola.
Yeah.
I knew Oklahoma City was the Loves.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew the Phoenix Suns were PayPal. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
Everybody else, no clue. And they're paying a lot of money.
If I sat and could think about it for an hour, I probably could come up with 10 or 11.
But that the 76ers were Crypto.com?
No way.
No clue. No clue. I didn't know the Pelicans were Ibotta.
No, and I watched them a bunch. That's my point.
The Knicks Sphere.
You'd be blind to the others. Now, if you're an Ole Miss fan and you're big on uniforms, you're going to notice the patch, especially if the patch has some different colors or something.
That's the catch. Is I actually think you'd be better off keeping some sort of color scheme inside your thing.
But what if the highest bidder was a different?
I would give up $250,000 for color. It's college where you got to do something to try to keep your aesthetic.
I mean,
there is a line where you just become professional and people don't give a crap with heartstrings anymore. So anywhere I can stop to prevent that, I'm going to do it.
I mean, I think you're already there. I mean, I told you, I kind of want to be the big jerk that when the cornerback gets burned to write, well, that's kind of the equivalent of taking $100,000 out back and setting it on fire. Because dude's making $300,000 to play corner for you one season.
Yeah.
And everybody go, you're a jerk. I'm like, well, what's the difference? What's the difference anymore? So I don't know. If I'm in a room, I'm like, I don't know. Or do we really have any nostalgia and tradition left? Let's just cash in.
Well, when it comes to, hey, you can either put a patch on there or you can cut a sport. What do you want to do?
There you go.
3 teams don't currently have NBA patch contracts, so I guess they're trying to find them.
Which ones?
Portland, Memphis, and the LA Clippers. Honey has dropped the Clippers.
Yeah.
And the Grizzlies have not had one since FedEx stopped in 2021. Why'd FedEx stop?
I don't know. Maybe because they decided it wasn't worth it.
That's Jeffrey tomorrow. I'm curious. Trailblazers did not have one this past season. They had Storm X through 2022 for just 1 year.
Sammy, tell me you're joking, by the way. I don't want to say it out loud, but just tell me you're joking. Because they busted those out in one of their friendlies, and I caught myself cheering for the other team.
It was a few weeks ago. Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah.
Columbia?
Whoever.
When they play Columbia?
Yeah.
Is that right?
They lost badly to somebody, then tied Brazil. They play tomorrow night.
Who did?
The U.S. plays tomorrow night in the Copa.
Who do they play tomorrow?
Panama.
They tied Brazil.
In a friendly. They beat
They
beat Bolivia in their first Copa game.
2-0.
2-0.
I did see that. The D1 Council is going to vote to cut the portal from 45 days to 30 days.
Okay.
Good with that?
I have no problem with that.
They're seeing that the majority of people are in, so there's no reason to extend it. Because what's happening is like in baseball right now. Nobody's necessarily getting in that already doesn't know they want to be in, but it's causing kids to not even get announced because they're trying to run the dates out before they bring someone in the position that somebody else plays,
Right.
and then they get in.
Right.
So you're just playing a bunch of shell games anyway, I guess is the point. So you might as well cut it. It's fine. Probably a good move by the NCAA. You can now do all the cannabis you would like without any kind of ban from drug class championships.
This is a big story because, I mean, think of how many college football players have abstained from smoking dope and now can imbibe. I mean, the 2011 Ole Miss football team, if only this law would have been in place.
The story that we broke at the DM in 2006, Ed O's middle team, the day before the Arkansas game, was in the entire linebacker core outside of Patrick and one more guy whose name is escaping me, getting busted for marijuana at an apartment complex and them getting sent to Barney instead of the cops to get run before they left for Fayetteville and then got beat 44-8 or something the next weekend. Maybe it was 2000. Yeah, I guess it was 2006. Yeah, so I don't know how they got away from the drug test and the things that went on here with this. But I'm glad now they would be fully capable of doing it. In all seriousness, it's a good move. Fine. Stop making this about
whatever.
This is cool.
They were all smoking dope anyway, is my point. Not all, but a lot.
It's a major change to a rule that has had high-profile consequences over the past decade. While schools have their own drug testing policies and standards for most of the season, the NCAA controls drug testing in the postseason. Well, that's why that team was fine. No big deal. And historically, it's had much stiffer penalties than the school. The NCAA drug testing program is intended to focus on integrity of competition, and cannabis products do not provide a competitive advantage. Illinois Athletic Director Josh Whitman said the council's focus is on policies centered on student-athlete health and well-being rather than punishment for cannabis use.
Sure.
In 2014, Michigan basketball star forward Mitch McCready learned he would be suspended for the entire 2014-15 season due to a positive marijuana test during the 2014 NCAA tournament.
Mitch McCready truly loved pot more than he liked basketball. It cost him his NBA career.
Oh, the Thunder took him, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's right.
he smoked his way out of the league.
Did he really?
Couldn't stop.
Where's he at now?
Not playing basketball.
Think he quit marijuana?
I don't know, but he quit basketball.
Okay. The NCAA later that year lessened the penalty for a positive marijuana test to only half a season. You lose half a season for a positive marijuana test?
I mean, come on.
I got
You want this organization to control
everything.
Stop.
In 2019, the NCAA raised the THC threshold for the rule, but 3 Oklahoma football players were suspended for 6 games due to positive marijuana tests before the Peach Bowl. Those suspensions carried over into the 2020 season. I don't remember that.
No.
I guess with COVID and stuff, we were not really focused on those 6 Oklahoma players at the moment, but
no.
Yeah. I didn't know that, though. That's something. Siski said you got a warning if you popped on a school test. Made sense. 365 days if you pop on an NCAA test. Okay.
I mean, you know how much dope you got to do to smoke your way out of the NBA?
Well, I mean, it has to completely impact your day, right?
I mean, it has to be overwhelming.
Because you're saying it's pretty popular?
Yeah. As a recovery tool and everything else.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to do it to the point that you just can't stay in the league? I mean,
Mitch McCready.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to look him up in a minute. First, I'll tell you about Prime Shrimp real quick. A lot of different flavors available for you. Everything from New Orleans style barbecue to their signature, a couple of their best sellers. Their new soy ginger option is their latest creation. It's great with hibachi type dishes, extra proteins, rice, noodles, vegetables, and more. So get some of that and try it out. We're going to make it easy for you to do that because if you buy 5 pouches or more, you can get 25% off with code RG at primeshrimp.com. Remember, it's ready in fewer than 10 minutes. Freezer to plate. It's great, again, great for quick dinners, protein snacks, lunches, and more. So stock up on your favorites or get a little of everything. Again, that's code RG at primeshrimp.com.
We're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Get in touch with John if you are wanting a special trip that creates a lifetime of unique memories. Just give him some parameters, give him a budget. He's going to give you some options that you're probably not going to find on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. Oxford's newest Greek restaurant on the square, Opa, is the perfect place to plan your company dinner, your festive party event. Maybe you're already thinking ahead to your company Christmas party. Opa can accommodate up to 200 guests. They have fabulous food, great craft libations as well. Get in touch with Jeannie for catering or booking information, 601-421-7147. We're also brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency. If your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, Service Specialist can help. Keep in mind that payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. You've got nothing to lose. So give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call, 601-573-9242, or check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistLTD.com. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com. And are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Either way, Andy Ludicky can help. He is a longtime Rivals board member, diehard college football fan, franchise veteran. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy. Put your life, your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. MyPerfectFranchise.net, Andy at MyPerfectFranchise.net, or 404-973-9901.
Podcast is brought to you by Northeast Spark, NESPARC. A couple packages available. Their Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze. It's their 1 gig option, their fastest option available. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's NESPARC.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, pro controls, network security, wireless mesh extender for those who need the extra boost, and more. Again, that's 662-238-3159. Let's see. You didn't take out an ad in the paper or write a letter and get very frustrated that the EA Sports toughest stadium list was probably incorrect when it came to real life football?
I did not. As I told you, nothing has made me feel older and more completely out of touch than my lack of anything as it relates to the EA Sports college football game release. I'm happy for the people who are excited about it. Like, genuinely, there are people that are counting down the days. I'm like, good for you. It's not going to impact my world whatsoever. But when they put out a list of stuff that is designed for nothing more than to get them some attention and to get people to talk about it, and everyone takes the bait and gets worked up about it emotionally, I'm like,
well, I mean,
you might ought to take
for the people that
meditation.
obsess over the game, and actually from a gameplay standpoint, what's interesting is it actually is going to affect the game. If you are in one of the tougher places to play, the road team they're going to alter visuals to make it more difficult for the road team to play in those stadiums.
What do you mean alter visuals?
I don't know. That's
Okay.
literally the words that
Gotcha.
they use was alter visuals.
But okay, I mean, it's just a game.
Whoa.
I mean,
Now it's in the game because that's the esports tagline.
Right.
But no.
But it's just a game.
Whoa.
If you happen to not win because your team's at Texas A&M because of the altered visuals, it's not going to affect your career arc or anything. It's going to be okay.
Texas A&M number one. I do have questions on how LSU or somebody's not number one over Texas A&M. Frankly, Ole Miss typically wins there.
We're talking about toughest places to play.
Yes. A&M is not the toughest place to play because A&M loses games there.
Yeah. It's loud.
Okay.
But whatever. I mean, again, this is going to be
Bama to LSU at 3, Georgia at 5.
This is a real challenge for me to get worked up
Oklahoma
over
at
this.
8, Florida at 10, Neal at 13, Auburn at 14, Williams-Brice at 15.
Okay, Auburn's too low.
Okay.
Florida's too high.
It is.
But whatever.
Texas it's 19.
I've only been to one game there.
Arkansas at 23 and State at 25.
State's a little high. Arkansas's high, but State is loud. They have the cowbell thing, and I've been in Starkville when I thought the crowd made a real difference. Covering games when I was covering Auburn, when I was covering Ole Miss. The Arkansas thing is people will say it's hard to get there. It used to be. It's not really anymore. I don't know. Whatever. Again, I'm having a really difficult time getting super worked up over this. Like I'm
Nathan says A&M's
Penn
24 and 20 in SEC games since joining the conference.
Where was Penn State on the list?
I only have SEC teams. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know.
Ohio State, the only non-SEC team in the top 5, and they're number 4.
Okay. No Oregon. Where's Oregon?
I only have the SEC teams outside of Ohio State.
It's fine.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, I can go find it if you would like me to, but I don't.
And
I mean, if you like more mileage out of it, I'll be happy to go grab it.
I'm trying to generate some give a damn, and I'm struggling.
What's the last video game you played that was actually, like, consistent? You played a good bit of it.
Oh, MLB The Show.
How long ago?
When Carson cared about baseball.
So 10 years ago?
Roughly.
I told Jeffrey this on the day you were gone because I think we were talking about the EA Sports game. I don't think I have played a game where I'm trying to finish the game or anything along those lines. So like a dynasty mode or anything.
Yeah.
It's trying to beat a Grand Theft Auto in college. I think it's been 20 years. Pretty sure. Now, Dylan and I would play a lot of Wii when he was little.
Yeah.
So right around that time, I did a lot of like Wii, Mario Kart, and stuff like that, if that counts.
I did the same thing because the girls were little and we would play Mario Kart.
I actually think Wii Mario Kart's one of the more underrated games. That's a really good game on a good system.
I mean, Campbell has that old system that we used to have, and she and her friends will play Mario Kart.
Do they really?
And they have a blast.
Yeah.
But like, I did the what is it called, franchise mode or something?
Yeah, sure.
You create a player or whatever. I created myself, and I made it to the Pirates.
Did you? Congratulations.
And then thanks. And then I lost interest. I mean, this just again. I'm not poo-pooing it. It's fine. I'm glad people are excited about it. I'm glad they are happy about it. I know it's good for the sport and all that stuff. It just doesn't interest me at all. So
I do think it helps the sport. I think it is an extra data point for interest for things. Like I actually think the game is a big secondary provider of excitement for the sport.
Well, they need some help with young people. So maybe it'll help them with young people.
Wisconsin and Penn State, 6 and 7.
I can see that. Sure.
I did play Contra on the old Nintendo way back in the day when I was like 7. Did you have an NES? Like Duck Hunt and the gun? And
no, we had an Atari. And then I've told you this before. One of my neighbors had an Intellivision. That was a treat to play Intellivision.
Intellivision?
Yeah.
Pong on Atari?
Oh, yeah, we played Pong. Space Invaders. Pac-Man. When Pac-Man came out on Atari, it was a big deal because Pac-Man at the arcade was like, it was a big thing.
It'll be tougher to see plays pre-snap that you're running. And then Joshua says players with low awareness will miss assignments and run the wrong routes at tough places to play at the new game.
Okay. Cool. There were people that did full shows on this yesterday.
I know.
I mean, I was like, man, just admit that you have nothing in your wheelhouse but one thing. Just admit it. Say it out loud.
The people that got the game early to review it, some of their reviews and links of their shows to talk about it, I mean, in the weeds to a point that,
yeah.
Look, I'm sure people in our stream right now would be all about it. Because
Sure.
if you're into it, you're into it.
Yeah, sure.
But I kind of sat there and went, oh my God.
Yeah. I don't know. Just the whole, I don't know. I'll whatever.
You have no interest in even seeing the game or anything?
Not really.
Nothing?
They'll play the games on TV and on fields and stuff. I'll see them. I'll see real games. Why do I want to watch the pretend games?
Somebody said, do you remember the Contra cheat code from back in the day? It was up, down, left, right, BA, start. The Contra cheat code back in the day.
I don't remember that.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I mean, Tyler says he's taking off work for 3 days to play the game. I'm cool with that. Free up an afternoon for me. That'll be good. I'm not judging the people that are into it. I'm happy for them. Good for them. It just doesn't. I'm not going to get worked up over a list that EA Sports creates to create conversation.
Speaking of Kyle Field, Tower pops in and says, it's loud, but the noise is so constant, so it's like a loud sound machine, if that makes sense. It's not variable where you can kind of get used to it.
Yeah, I see that. Look, I mean, I don't have if you're just asking me to really get to judge I don't have a problem with Mississippi State where they are. That place gets loud, and when they ring the bells, it's deafening.
No, of the SEC teams, Florida is too high, A&M's too high.
Yeah.
State might be a little low. Auburn might be a little low.
Auburn is low.
Yeah. Those are the ones that...
Auburn's bad low. I mean, I pick on Auburn and stuff, but in terms of stadium experience, that place is loud. And they're in it pretty much the whole game.
Would you lay the 20 right now? Egg Bowl?
No, I'd take 20 points.
Yeah. That's a big freaking line for the Egg Bowl.
I mean, I've covered how many Egg Bowls?
17.
I mean, I've covered some blowouts.
Yeah.
Ole Miss,
first one.
Ole Miss blew them out in 08. State blew Ole Miss out in 11.
16.
Yeah, 16. Yeah, boy. People don't.
Hung some double nickels that day. I mean, that was a...
People don't talk about that one enough. That's a game Ole Miss fans have just kind of forgotten. They never even got worked up over.
Because you went straight into everything else.
You went straight into scandal.
Yeah.
But, like, that was an ass kicking of the highest order. Like, that was this thing is going off the rails. And they blame Matt Luke for it. Criminally bad. You want to get me worked up about something? Here you go. That Hugh Freeze didn't get blamed for the disaster that happened to that program is beyond me. And that people didn't give Matt Luke enough credit for taking an absolute train wreck and going 6-6. I'm not saying Matt Luke should still be the coach or any of that stuff. I'm saying he did a whale of a job in 2017.
He did.
Because that team deserved. The team didn't.
Yeah. Hugh
and the program deserved to go 3-9, careening completely off the rails. That's what they deserved. Everybody around it deserved that.
I will never, I hope this is correct. I hate to say never because got a season was pretty volatile coming up. But
yep.
I don't think I'll ever cover a season like 16 from expectations where you think the program might just be at that point.
Yeah.
All the way down to how this thing finishes. Because actually,
and look, that 16 team was a Shea Patterson crazy game, crazy fourth quarter.
That's where I'm going, A&M.
They beat A&M that day. Otherwise, because they got blown out at Vanderbilt.
That's where I'm going. Yeah, I got the full thing in my head.
We just don't. We don't do that enough. I mean,
yeah.
When people do the freeze,
save it. Hold on.
Freeze
I'm going here in a minute.
Elite coach thing.
Hold on.
Stop.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to go here in a minute. First, real quick, 662-236-2222 GNM Pharmacy. That's in Oxford on South Lamar. Also, Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs. They're on the square in Holly Springs. Look, they make it really easy to transfer medications. Give them a chance. Give them a call. They take care of the rest of it. They also deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedScene. If your prescription's the same day each month, take care of you. Make it that as simple as possible. One delivery, one pickup. Everything you need when you need it with G&M. Again, that's 662-236-2222.
Southern Traditions Farm is a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. 2 sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails. So much offered at Southern Traditions. Horseback riding offerings from beginner lessons to advanced to being able to compete in nationally recognized competitions. It's also a great venue for corporate outings, reunions, get-togethers, parties, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Check them out on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm. And brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. I'll have a mailbag out. It might be today. It might be tomorrow. No promises. But it'll be out before I take off for the rest of the week. If you're thinking of making a move, put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously, call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email art at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com.
So, yeah, I mean, that 16 team. Speaking of, real quick, Rippy did his second version of their rewind, looking at old games. He and I did Dylan DeLucia's one over Arkansas last week. You can find that at MPW Digital. Today, he and Weldon Rodenberg did 2015 Alabama football. So,
what are they doing on YouTube? Are they just watching the game?
They're watching and then breaking all down what they saw, what they remember, and kind of
okay.
things along those lines from an audio format. So yeah, that's in the system. 2015 Alabama from today. Also this morning, I linked on the board because people simply ask, but I did a full breakdown of How I Met Your Mother, the sitcom that has been done for 10 years now. Ben Garrett and I sat down, went through that for about an hour and a half. So if you're into that, if you've seen it, look, it's been 10 years, but there's spoilers everywhere, obviously, because we're literally breaking down a series. So just don't yell at me about that.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. I know people. I'm pointing that out at the beginning. Do not hit it if you think, oh, well, I'll listen and then watch the series. That would be dumb. So no, don't do that. But we spent 90 minutes on that. You can find that this morning as well. So those couple things up at MPB Digital. But no, I mean, I thought about it when Brian told me he had sent me some stuff from that Alabama game last night or a couple nights ago while they were rewatching and going through it. We were just kind of talking about it. And in so much hindsight, I don't know if people realize or remember is the right word, just how the NCAA violations and all the probation had kicked in where you're worried about this. But that 2016 team was highly regarded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people thought that Ole Miss was just this team that was going to go to Access Bowls now. And frankly, what is true now probably they thought was sort of true then, that you kind of skipped over some of the cracks in the facade, and there were so many of them at that point. Because you remember ESPN was doing all these huge promotions leading into that opener against Florida State, because they had all the big gimmicks about DeAndre Burnett and Dalvin Cook. Remember, like, they had all like they were cousins or like stepbrothers or something, and they do all that stuff. And you had all this Florida State stuff. And I mean, I still remember sitting there at halftime and going, are they about to go win the damn thing? Like, the whole thing. Like, I mean, you're going,
look really good.
Look really good, and Chad's rolling, and you're going, oh my God, like, because they're coming off the Sugar Bowl, and they had recruited that class to be the next class. Like, you know, that's the thing. Shea flamed out, so you don't think about it enough in hindsight. But at that moment, that was a true freshman class that was supposed to be the new 2013 class. That was Greg and Shea, and you had these top 5 recruits and all this stuff going on. So then even when they lose to Florida State, you're like, okay, it was whatever. And then you get up on Alabama and think you're doing it again. And then I think the weirdest weeks in some ways, because they hammered that Kirby Smart year 1 Georgia team.
Yeah.
And you thought, okay, did they just have 2 really bad days, or is this team not what you think they are? You know what I mean? Like, you're in this middle ground of what's to come.
Yeah.
And then that ending, as you said, because you alluded to it right before we went to break, Shea is unreal on a couple drives against A&M, makes it happen. You win the game. And we probably on this podcast went, well, if they go 3-0 down the stretch and you kind of build the next year and all this kind of stuff. And then that bombing at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
That bombing at Vanderbilt, even more than the Egg Bowl.
Because you weren't there.
No.
That game was over second quarter. It was cold. I kind of remember a lot about, not the game, but just the stuff around it. Like, that game kind of took forever. All the Ole Miss people were bolting out of the stadium. And the horn, they were playing the horn a lot. The coffee was terrible. That was bad. Oh, that was bad. I was like, man. That was. Turns out that when you get blown out at Vanderbilt, it's a bad omen. Just in general. And then 5, 6, 7 days later, whatever it was, as much as Dan Mullen liked blowing out Ole Miss, he got bored that day.
He did.
He got bored that day. They stopped. It was a 4-7 Mississippi State team coming into that game.
Were they really?
Yeah. 4-7.
So they got in a bowl at 5-7.
Yeah, they got the APR thingy.
APR.
Whatever it was.
AARP. Yeah, they got that.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. 13-10 at the end of the first quarter, Mississippi State. Ole Miss only down 7 at the break. It's 27-20 at halftime.
Really?
27-20 at halftime.
Ooh, wasn't 27-20 at the end.
State outscored them 28-0 in the second half.
Wow. I did not remember that.
Do you not?
No.
Ole Miss takes the lead on a Gary Wonderlick 24-yard field goal.
Okay.
Arius Williams from Mississippi State scores right after that. DeMaurier Stringfellow gets a 19-yard pass from Shea Patterson. Ole Miss up 10-6.
Okay.
10-6. Donald Gray, a pass from Nick Fitzgerald, 13-10. Williams again, 13-yard run, 20-10 Bulldogs.
Okay.
27-10 Bulldogs. So they're kind of walking away. Malik Deer with a catch right there.
Oh, that's a name from the past.
Stringfellow again from Shea Patterson. They had a connection. Stringfellow and Shea, they had it going on.
Yeah.
Ole Miss scores with 26 seconds left on a field goal to cut it to 7 at the half.
Okay.
And then after that, complete and utter rough shot. Just gone at that point. I mean, finished night. Shea actually ends up going 27 of 48 for 322 and 2.
Okay.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Nick Fitzgerald said a lot about Mullen's offense at the time, and Ole Miss can't stop anybody defensively in the run game.
Yeah.
Nick Fitzgerald was the starting quarterback of a team that scored 55 points to win a rivalry game. Okay. His line in this game: 8 of 17 for 100 yards.
Okay. What do you run for? 300?
258 on 14 carries.
When you give up
on 14 carries,
someone says, "Hey, the quarterback ran for 258." You're like, Cam? Jaden Daniels?
Arius Williams was the second running back in the game and went 25 for 191.
Wow. Jeez.
State ran 47 times for 457 yards.
9 yards a carry. That'll win. Tell a football coach, hey, you're going to run it 47 times, get 9 yards a carry. He's going to be like, oh, my God. Sign me up.
A.J. Brown, 3 catches, 41 yards. Van Jefferson, 5 catches, 47 yards. Stringfellow, 6 for 97.
It was a 4-7 Mississippi State team.
Yeah.
And people had the audacity to blame Matt Luke the next year. Unbelievable. It's like, can you not see where? Can you not?
I'd probably give you $1,000 if you could name me the kick returner on the 2016 Ole Miss football team.
No, this is past post Corvick Neat.
Yeah. 2 people caught one. I think you could, if you really, really, really thought about it, I think you could get the one that caught one. But someone had six returns for 129 yards. You could have given me all day.
No idea.
Carlos Davis.
Yeah.
Kalo Moore had the other one.
Yeah, I wouldn't have come up with that either. But
you wouldn't have gotten that one.
No.
Gary had a good day. 2 for 2.
Gary had a really good career.
Yeah, Gary had a good career.
Had a good career.
Got an ejection on his thing too. That fight against Memphis.
Freaking hoodlum. All those MUS kids come out. They're completely out of control.
Rivalry game. Hometown team. You got a lot of stuff going on.
It's like you've been to one MUS St. Paul's game. You've been to them all. Who's not St. Paul's? Who's MUS's big rival?
Christian Brothers.
Christian Brothers. Yeah,
Christian
You know,
Brothers.
they have to have so much police security at those games; it's out of control.
Akeem Judd did go 19 for 107 in this game.
Yeah,
Shea ran for 73.
I mean, they scored 20-something points. I mean, Hugh obviously spent that week preparing the offense. It was over.
I do remember Hugh walking off the field that day. For whatever reason, that sticks in my mind a lot. And you don't know that it's over, but kind of think it's over.
It felt
I think
over.
something's going to happen in the next 6 months to make it over.
I remember my email the next morning.
Was it rough?
Oh, it was all of a sudden. It was proof. If you win, nobody cares.
Well, no, that's true.
If you lose, everything comes out. All the laundry, all the dirty laundry.
Because you didn't get the NCAA sanctions for another year. That was the end of 17.
When did we find out that it was about to
right?
get bad? When did it? What was the day that they lost the running back from Mississippi to Florida State?
Cam Akers.
It was around that time. When was that?
I mean, I can try to tell you.
Because this was about the time that we started hearing the stuff.
Cam Akers commits to Florida State December 28, 2016. So a month later. Basically a month after the Egg Bowl.
Laura and I took the kids to Chicago, and I can remember having a conversation with you going, you better rest up. 2017 is going to be a rough year.
Yeah, I remember that.
Elliot O'Keefe says that's easy. It's Carlos Davis. I mean, I give fans that can remember stuff like that. I give them tons of credit. I just my mind does not operate in that way. I'm not criticizing me or you. I'm just I can't remember those minutia like that. Too many games, too many practices.
December 1, 2017 is Ole Miss lacked institutional control in football program. So that's the day it came out.
Oh. Okay.
You can listen to the media teleconference if you'd like here on the NCAA website that I'm currently on.
No, I'm good.
This is not the first draft of the press release that had Vitter basically calling all of his boosters hoodlums in it.
I remember that. They called us like, take it out. And you're like, no, it was in your release.
That was actually, yes, that was the thing it was in the NCAA's release. The NCAA included in its release basically Vitter going, yep, the boosters suck. Throw the book at them. And you're going, whoa, wait, what happened in the room? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, Michael called me and was like, hey, like, come on. I was like, hey, it's in their release.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't write it. Y'all wrote it. Why are you yelling at us?
It showed you how bad the NCAA hated them or was try out for blood. You know what I mean? Like that gets in the release.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, I mean,
he said it.
Ole Miss couldn't have been surprised because you and I told them. And if we knew it, they wanted blood, man. That was personal.
It was.
Like, I can't believe we're spending time on this on June the 26th, 2024. But, like, what really happened? I mean, I've heard a lot of things, enough to probably believe certain things. But what really happened to make it that personal? Like, wouldn't you love to, like, really know the NCAA perspective on what actually happened to make it that personal?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a lot of stuff, but it was personal.
The head of the committee, remember his name?
He was at Xavier.
He was the AD at Xavier.
Oh, I mean,
we only said it every day for 2 years.
Yeah, but I'm really good at blocking things out after a while.
Greg Christopher.
Okay.
Greg Christopher. Carol Cartwright, Greg Christopher. Bobby Crimmins, the former head coach of Georgia Tech basketball. Remember he was on the committee?
I saw him.
Walking out of the room that day.
Out of the room, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
In a lot of ways, it feels longer than 7 years ago.
It does. I remember a lot about that whole week.
The case week, the committee.
The case week, and then you knew it had wrapped up, and Matt and them were scrambling to get the hell out of Covington to get back to Oxford because they had like 2 days of practice before they flew to California to play Cal. It was there was a lot. I remember Hugh looked 1,000,000 years old.
Mm-hmm.
There was just a lot. And then I knew things that had happened, and I was pretty sourced on that deal. And I knew things that had happened in the room, and it was a miscarriage of justice based on what Leo Lewis said in that room. That should have been in a court of law. Yeah. Leo Lewis's testimony would have led to a mistrial.
Thrown out. Yeah, 100%. So I don't know why that's how we got down memory lane, but somehow 16 to that, and it just kind of happened. So anyway, Rebel Grove and
Tyler kind of nails it. I think this is putting a kind of a soft umbrella over it. I think it's more thorny than this, but he says they got called out. You can't call out the NCAA publicly.
Now, whether you should be able to is a different story. Because
you should certainly be able to.
That's stupid.
I also think that when the investigators first came, some of the stuff you hear about the altercation between the investigator and Hugh is basically true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what they were used to.
Do you remember the parrot's name in the lobby?
No, but I do remember the parrot.
You don't remember his name?
I don't remember his name. Tell me, please.
No, I don't know. I don't. I mean, I'm sure we could find it. You probably wrote it at some point.
I'm sure I did.
So
it was what happened. We gotta go. What happened is that they'd go into the room and you didn't know when they were coming out, so you had to hang out and wait. But they might be going in there for 3 hours, or they might be going in there for 10 minutes. But they'd go in there, and so you're like, "What are we going to do now?" And you're sitting around, and I got bored, and the parrot was over there, and I was like, "That's the most interesting thing in the room right now."
It's the parrot.
Yeah, and it was because the parrot could talk some, and so I'd go over and talk to the parrot.
He talked back.
Yeah, I was bored. And you couldn't write anything yet because, like, I don't know. Like, is this going to wrap up today? Is this going to tomorrow? And all of my sources that I talked to didn't talk to me until at night.
Yeah.
And so during the day, I'm just, like, killing time. And you can only spend so much time with the other people that were beat writers and stuff. And so I'd go over and talk to the parrot. And I guess I put the video of the parrot up on Twitter or something. And
is that what happened?
I think that's what happened. And that led to people laughing about it. That's crazy.
Emmy,
that sounds right.
No, it's correct. Yes, 100%.
How about that?
Yeah. In your story, there was a parrot named Emmy walking around on the bricks that made up the hotel's atrium.
Yeah. And I asked people, like, what's the deal with the parrot? They're like, oh, it's very famous. People come here, stay here so that they can see the parrot.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, I get it.
Covington,
yeah, right across the river. Yeah. You could run across the river. I jogged across the river into Cincinnati and stuff.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I don't know. If you're with us here, we're just hanging out. So that'll be that. RebelGrove.com. In the meantime, we will talk to Jeffrey tomorrow. Have that podcast. Again, several things at MPW Digital, and then any coverage that is necessary, RebelGrove.com. Again, in the meantime. So take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.